Hey, it's Daymar. Glad you guys stumbled upon my little channel here at Between the Pencil and Me, because today I am trying abstract painting for the first time. I have these two canvases that were kind of half finished paintings for quite a while. Decided to throw about like 5 layers of gesso on it and use it for this project. So along with the two canvases, I'll be using Golden Open Acrylic Gel, Winsor & Newton Galleria Acrylics in Winsor Blue and Cobalt Blue, and lastly, Golden Open Quinacridone Magenta. I pulled up a few abstract paintings on Pinterest as a sort of inspiration, but you will quickly see that I did not follow these at all. But hey, that is why it was inspiration, so it doesn't need to be identical. So I'm starting off with one last coat of white paint to try to cover up anything that's kind of peeking through. You can see that the canvas isn't that like crisp, white, clean canvas to start off with. And I go in and mix the two blues together and attempt to use a palette knife, but it is very apparent that I have no clue what I'm doing. I decided to spread the color along the middle with the palette knife and then go in with the brush and kind of try to get that feeling that the inspiration paintings had. The big brush was pretty nice. It definitely gave the painting a smoother, brushy look that I was going for. So finally I was starting to like kind of get into the painting and really like feel it and stuff, and then suddenly my brush strokes weren't coming out so straight, and I'm sure it was the way that I had like angled my wrist and stuff. And so I decided to get some magenta paint and put it on those places where those curves were happening, kind of trying to fix it with a different colored paint and make the lines look more straight, so to speak. You'll also see that there is some pretty nice color mixing between the blue and the magenta on the canvas, and I really like it. But that nice little beauty did not last, because as you can see in some of the places, the white will get dirty, so to speak, and the magenta and blue were kind of going into the other colors in a way that I really didn't want. And I just kind of kept working on it, and I tried getting some white in there to cover up some of those mistakes and clean it up a little. I just kept getting this texture between the colors that I really wasn't enjoying. And of course, you can still tell I have no damn clue what I'm doing. I decided to try to go in with the magenta at the bottom and bring that up to the blue. I figured if there's not a lot of white down there, then you won't be able to easily see those mistakes that I was talking about. And bringing that color in, I think, gave it a much cleaner look than it was before. And of course, what I do to one canvas, I have to do to the other. So I go in with the magenta on the second canvas and get that bottom all filled up and covered up as well. While I'm going in with this magenta, I am trying to give the edges some height variety between the colors. I just figured it would be a little more interesting than just the plain messy line, I guess, that was like in between the colors before. I then went in with the white paint and kind of just did the same thing as the bottom and cleaning up the top edges, really giving it some edge variety as I did, and the bottom as well. I went in with more blue since the magenta was so vibrant. And at this point, I think things are starting to look pretty good, right? Don't be so gullible. And you forget the part where I had no fucking clue what I'm doing. I go back in again with the white to clean it up a bit, and it just keeps spreading When am I gonna learn? At this point, there's no saving it while it's still wet, so I just let it dry, come back the next day with more white paint. But look at how delicious that looks now. It's so crisp and clean and no blue for now. I flip the canvas and get the magenta fully covered and flip it again and try to get the blue more covered, and I'm really just trying to get the colors saturated and not having that like really streaky color peeking through with the white underneath and whatnot. And there we go again. I just cannot keep the colors clean from each other. I can't let it dry. Impatience here, you know? Sure, plenty can relate. And as always, my battery dies and I didn't notice. But at this point, I have most of the painting covered with the gold and silver leaf, and I don't really have a plan on how I'm putting them there other than I want the gold to go from the magenta upwards into the blue, and then I want the silver to come down from the white into the blue, and they kind of meet in the middle. And I was really liking the way that I was looking, but I was having trouble getting the gold and silver leaf to stick to the canvas, and I decided that I would just throw some resin on top of them. Resin's good to work with for about 45 minutes to an hour depending on what kind of resin you have. And so I decided to just pour that over top, and once I got it spread out over the full canvas as evenly as I could, I started adding in more of the gold and silver leaf, and that helped get it more sticky on the surface so that it would stick better. But some of the resin was getting on my fingers, and so then the gold leaf would stick to my fingers, so I grabbed some tweezers to kind of help with that, and it did a bit. After the first painting was cured overnight, I then went on and just repeated the exact same thing I did on the first one onto this second canvas, and that was it. And here they are, dried and hanging in my workspace. It's pretty crazy to see how small they actually look on the wall, because when you're working on them and you have them like right in front of you, they feel so huge and intimidating. But then you put them on the wall and they're just so puny. Anyways, I think they came out great. I loved them. If you enjoyed coming along this journey with me on making my first abstract painting, then make sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Let me know in the comments below, do you like abstract art, or do you make any abstract art? Let me know and I will see you soon. Bye.